November 10th. Our hunting season started October 1st here in Illinois, and I think it was July, August potentially, I ordered an H2 saddle. At that point, it was actually right at the transition point between Heath actually becoming a company and just him having his seamstress make up saddles for guys, kind of a DIY thing, I think. So that is a disclaimer, along with a couple other disclaimers I have. This is only my second year hunting, so I don't have a lot of experience in different climbing methods, different stands. I used a Summit climber last season. In the off season, I found some deals on a couple other climbers that I was going to try this year, and then other YouTube places actually started bringing this saddle idea into my mind, and that got me into ordering one. I'm also not sponsored by anyone except my wife, of course, who, if you happen to be a boutique, your wife has a boutique, your friend has a boutique, your husband has a boutique, I'll try to figure out how to put a link down below and check out her business that actually supports me being able to hunt all the time, honestly. And she does a really good job. There's all kinds of reviews on her website and everything else. But this is my saddle, H2. I am 5'11"-ish, 180 pounds. And when I messaged Heath and told him that stuff, and he had a couple different options for which way I could go, I went with a medium on mine, which covered from, I believe, 32 to 38-inch waist. I am a 32, but I figured with bulky clothing, since I hunt all the way through mid-January, I figured that'd be the right choice. I've had 30 sits in this thing, which is unbelievable. I've only gotten one deer, but it was all, it's all my own learning process and everything else. I passed on one that I probably shouldn't have, and I've had just amazing opportunities and stuff. 30 hunts, meaning they're usually 3-4 hours in the morning. I've had 3 or 4 different sits where I've done it all day, which would be those 3 or 4 hours, maybe 5 hours, and then I'd go back to the truck for a couple hours and then go back and sit for the rest of the day. So 10 to 12 hours in a given day. That's what I would consider a hunt. And then I've also practiced with it quite a bit. I've made a couple other videos where I'm wearing it through different situations. I've probably got 80 to 100 actual times wearing this thing in a tree. Lots of practice and stuff. I've got the gear bags that I use. These are just little pouches off of Amazon, I believe. If I can figure out how to do it, I'll put a link in the description on where you can get these. I use a webbing, tether, and lineman belt, so they're a little bit smaller and they fit in these smaller packages, along with some DIY ring of steps that I have in another video you can check out. And I think this would be my gear hanger that my mother-in-law actually made. Super cool, another DIY thing. I think it was from the backpack off of a Summit stand, the one that I got. I couldn't figure that one out. I ordered a different carry straps for my Summit and used that, and she sewed this up and it works out really great. These are number 6 Espiners. In the beginning I was using a native swader. I just recently switched over to sticks, and so I just hang a stick off of each side of my saddle and as I'm going up, and then when I get to the top, one of these goes on the strap for my quiver and the other one goes on to hang my bow. And then my platform, I actually would just set it on the back of my carrier here and then just use this to strap it into place just so that it didn't bang around going up the tree. Okay, enough about all that stuff. Let's get to the saddle. Ordered this thing. I don't have experience with other ones, so all of my experience is just based on what I've had in the tree with this thing. The quality is phenomenal, honestly. I really tried to nitpick it for this video as far as any details, anything that I would complain about, anything that I have seen. Literally, the only thing that I could see that would tell you, and even from a factory you'd probably see this, but one little spot of the stitching on the inside of this goes outside of this little band of camo here. It's a completely visual thing. When you flip it around, you'll see that it has absolutely nothing to do with anything in the structure of the saddle or anything else. 100%. It's just literally just going over with a fine-tooth comb trying to find something that would be an issue. One thing I noticed, I don't know if this is standard on all of his saddles. Actually, I'm going to find out, because this camo pattern and then a brownish color, I think, were the only options that were there. And he came out with a woodland camo, and just for my own, I don't know what word to use, but for just because I really like the woodland camo. You're probably going to see me in the woodland camo version of this at some point. And then I'll be able to see if this is standard or not. But the looping back here that goes all the way around is, from what I can tell, a standard looping for Molle straps. Works really well for these. In this saddle in particular, this back one, the center back of the Molle strapping, there's a little bit wider gap in the sewing here. So they're all symmetrical, and then this one is a little bit wider. And in my case, it worked out phenomenal, because when I was originally using the wild edge steps to go up the tree, I would hang one on this side, hang one on this side, and then I could just reach around and easily stick that leg of the third one here to go up the tree with. The wild edge step would go through these other ones, but this one being a little bit wider was just really easy. It was right in the center of my back. Really loved it. I would use 4 with a nader swader, get up at whatever hunting height I needed to be. So, all that talking to get back to the fact that this thing is really, really great. My size and weight, I actually keep the tether just above my head, and I left his webbing bridge at the length that he had it, and then I keep this waistband just sitting on top of the waistband of my jeans, and I had no problems at all. I go back and forth between leaning and sitting, and that's mostly for my legs, I think. In the beginning, I think I had my tether just a little bit lower, and I feel like I had maybe a little hip pinch in that, but it was just a learning curve in it. I know a lot of guys, when someone posts on the pages about hip pinch, they say lower your tether, shorten your bridge. It's going to come up to just a personal thing for each person, your body type, weight, all that stuff, I believe. For me, this works out perfectly. I will usually get set up and draw my bow, both strong and weak side. This setup works phenomenally. So, one other thing just an idea that I have for future also. One of the companies that builds saddles, I don't know which one it is, they have some reflective thread in these different loops, in your bridge and tether loops, and I don't know that it's necessary. Obviously it's not, because I use this thing all the time, but I think that could be a pretty handy thing to have in a saddle, especially along the lineman loop, because here I keep this one looped on all the time, but then as I go around the tree, I click this one on, and that would be a handy little addition, I think. But otherwise, you would doubt me going wrong with one of these. I think they're 150-ish without the leg loops, which is how I prefer it, honestly. 165 or so with the leg loops, whichever one makes you feel the safest. So there it is. Super great saddle. Highly recommend. Like I said, I'm not sponsored by anyone. I would do a review on, if you happen to want to send me a saddle, and I'll wear it for a while and I'll try it out, or any other gear, honestly, but there you go. Enjoy. Also, his customer service has been phenomenal. I had a bunch of questions in the beginning, since this season has been the first time I pretty much heard of the saddles in general, and every question or concern that I had, he was right on top of. And I've seen it a lot on especially Facebook pages. I'm not on other social media too much, but where if someone has a question or a concern, he's right on top of it. And this is the paper that came with my saddle. Like I said, I got mine right in that transition period between him being just kind of a DIY thing and his business. It is labeled as H2 Saddles, which is good. It says, "Welcome to the addiction of saddle hunting. Your professionally sewn custom saddle is made of quality material, including 6,000 pound rated polyester webbing, 4,000 pound rated tubular webbing, 12 kilonewton and 24 kilonewton belt buckle, and 600 denier Cordura fabric, which has excellent resistance to weather, abrasion, fraying, and most important, tearing. There are approximately 180 yards of outdoor polyester thread used in the construction. The length of the tubular webbing bridge can be adjusted by retying the water notch to the desired length. Please leave at least 2-inch tag end from the knot so you can visually inspect the knot for possible slippage and retie as needed. There are no leg loops on this saddle and is sold for ground use only. As with any piece of equipment that you rely on, inspect the saddle for signs of wear, tears, pulling seams, or stress. If you should have any free fall impact on the saddle, you should discontinue use, as there may be damage that is not visible. I would recommend that you only spot hand wash and gentle detergent and air dry if you require cleaning. If the saddle becomes wet, be sure to dry it before storage. I trust that with proper care, you will get many years of service. If you have any questions, all of his contact info is there. And he says I'm excited with new people joining our saddle community and the fact that I could assist you in some small way. Keep the ropes tight, Heath. So, gives you all the ratings. Really personal message. I appreciated it.